Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beard Zone Sports Talk. My name is David, and I got Carlos with me tonight. It has been a wild opening day of free agency, and it kind of started yesterday on Sunday. We're recording this Monday night, but we had to jump on here and give you guys a quick little special free agent episode. So do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as we get into this. But Carlos, a lot of moves. Every 5 to 10 minutes, I felt like my phone was going off with new breaking news, a new player to a new team, or a trade happening somewhere. I mean, it was just all day long today. Some really good moves, some interesting moves for sure, but we're going to dive into all of it. Let's talk first about some of the moves that we saw happen, though. I want to start off with this one, and that's Geno Smith is now a Las Vegas Raider. He's back with Pete Carroll, and it seems like that they're, trying to have him as their guy for the future and see what they can do. But how do you feel about that one?
It is an interesting combo. Like I would have thought. I thought there might be a big play for Russell Wilson there, but he kind of fits. There's history there. He fits that. Geno's does take care of the ball, which is super important, and he's got some. He's got a little bit of leadership. Geno's grown over the years, but he's played on a Seattle team that doesn't block for him very well. So I think the hope is there that he'll just protect the ball. They got to get him some help though. He's got, Brock Bowers, and other than that, they need some help.
Brock Bowers is definitely going to be the number one guy there, unless if they go out and make a big move. But a lot of the wide receivers are now kind of off, so maybe they can make a big splash in the draft. Although, to kind of tie in with the Geno Smith protecting the ball, typically he does, but last year he was on a 15 interception streak. He threw 15 interceptions, so not the best year for him. But let's move on. Let's talk about Geno's old team, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. They got their guy now, Sam Darnold. I'm going to be really honest with you, Carlos. I think that this is the worst move that Sam Darnold could have done. He just came off a 14-3 year with the Minnesota Vikings and Kevin O'Connell and that offense. He's going from Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the league, and a nice number 2 in Jordan Addison. You also have TJ Hawkinson as the tight end. You have Aaron Jones in the backfield, which was very productive. You have a defense on the other side of the ball that can definitely keep you in all the games. And now you're going to a Seattle Seahawks who are essentially selling the team and getting rid of everybody. And now no Tyler Lockett, no DK Metcalf. Kenneth Walker is injury prone. Offensive line, mid-tier, probably lower half, and you're going to a defensive line in McDonald. So I don't like this move for Sam Darnold. He gets a Baker Mayfield kind of contract, so I think it's a fair deal for them. But to me, I was such a big Sam Darnold fan. I liked how he, I always like the comeback stories, right? I don't know. I don't like this move for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I don't get it. They got a little bit of a upgrade with Lincoln Tomlinson from San Francisco that they just signed, but that O-line wasn't great for Geno last year, and it put him in a lot of bad spots. And we saw with Sam Darnold towards the end of the year, especially in the last game, when he lost their best offensive lineman, and then when that pressure came, he just did not do very well. So I don't know what they were thinking, but we'll have to see. He just doesn't – he's got JSN to throw to, who's great, but they're going to maybe – they know something we don't know, and they're going to add, they're going to add some pieces. But they've got between Noah Fant's not going to be their guy at tight end. The guy hasn't really done anything in years, but they're going to have to get him some help at wide receiver. JSN cannot do it all. Like they literally the other two, it's Jake Bobo and Tariq Young. Like, no disrespect to Bobo, but he ain't DK Metcalf.
He's not a lot of people can say that they are in the same category as DK. So huge loss for them, but hopefully Sam Darnold can keep it. Let's just go ahead and keep this cycle going. Let's go back to Sam Darnold's original team, and the New York Jets have now obtained their guy for the future. The Aaron Rodgers era is over, and now the Justin Fields for the New York Jets has begun. Carlos, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about this.
So part of me is ecstatic about it because it's Justin Fields, and I am very much not a Justin Fields advocate. I just don't think the guy's a good quarterback. I think he's a little bit better than Anthony Richardson. But you know who's the biggest loser on that Jets team is freaking Garrett Wilson again. This guy cannot. Right when you think he gets that big quarterback with Aaron Rodgers, coming out from Zach Wilson, Mike White, like he just can't buy a break here with Justin Fields. I mean, he'll give him a spark. He's able to run. He makes defenses respect that aspect of his game because it's legit. But he's not anywhere proven that he can be the guy that can win you 9, 10, 11 games and take you further. And I get it. People will say he's with the Bears. It is what it is. But Mitch Trubisky was with him as well and was able to push a little bit. But I just don't see it. I just, they've got some problems there on the O-line already and with the Jets. So but I mean, we'll see. But as a Dolphins fan, I'm not hating it just because I'm not worried about guarding him passing the ball down the field. Like, hey, go ahead and take your chance.
To kind of stay on subject with Garrett Wilson, let's not forget, and let me actually remind you, I don't know if you forgot about this or not, but Garrett Wilson's college quarterback was Justin Fields in Ohio State. So, yeah. I mean, maybe they had the chemistry there. Like, do they get that spark back?
No. Here's a thing I heard, and somebody was like talking about Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward and how they feel Shedeur will be a good quarterback because if you look at Shedeur, he spent his time in college running for his life. Never had a good offensive line. Had a couple decent wide receivers. I mean, Travis Hunter, but he's always running and he's used to that pressure. When you go to Ohio State, you have a $5 million offensive line in front of you that most of those guys are going into pros. You've got wide receivers on the outside that are going pro. You're not playing on a normal college football team. Like he had time to sit back there. He could throw a 5-yard pass to Wilson and he'll run it for 50 for a touchdown. So those stats are inflated. But when he came to the NFL, It's not like that. And you're on teams that are bad and they expose you a lot. So let's see. He's had time. I mean, he was with Tomlin last year. Maybe he learned some things, and being able to watch Russ a little bit, but I don't have any confidence in him. I don't think he throws the deep ball very well. If he's pressured, decision-making is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see. Good point, though. I mean, Ohio State, it's hard to compare the players that come from Ohio State and how they transition into the NFL just because it is such a pro kind of ready team. I mean, those guys are not, guys who are, hoping. When you go to a school like Ohio State, you're a guy who can play in the big leagues 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Definitely fair enough. But let's go ahead and let's stay on, the topics of wide receivers, though. DK Metcalf is now a Pittsburgh Steeler, and he tag teams now with George Pickens. And I can't think of 2 wide receivers that are more angry. It's just going to be a fight every single game, and I am here for it.
I hope they don't have any Monday night games because that is going to be a ferocious tag team in the WWE. Yeah. They will win the tag team titles.
Absolutely.
Right. And DK is built like a monster. The only thing I could say is if Russell Wilson happens to catch any of this, sign with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You have Fairmew, DK, Pickens. You got the Steelers run offense with Arthur Smith. Sign with them. There's nothing out there better right now, and they've upgraded the defense. But, man, no pun intended, what a huge pickup. This guy, he can go over the middle. He's speed for days, and I think he's going to complement Pickens, and I think he'll settle down Pickens a little bit. DK's been there. Yeah. So I think it's a great pickup for them, and in a conference that is going to be was tough already, but holy crap, it is going to be
offense
tougher.
The AFC North, I think, surprised us all last year. We were like, what the heck was going on? So definitely a tough division. I will never forget my favorite video of DK Metcalf that is out there on the internet right now is when he is running an in route, right? And coming across the middle, and he goes to catch the ball, and the defender tried to light him up. The ball popped out. DK just was like, well, dang, man. And the
What was that?
defender is laying on the ground hurt. He
Yeah.
ran into a literal brick wall with DK Metcalf. He is an absolute freak, an absolute specimen. And let's never forget the Pete Carroll when he takes off his shirt when they signed or when they drafted DK Metcalf. That was an awesome moment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to my hometown team really quick because a guy who I was so worried about losing this offseason was none other than Chris Godwin. And he decided to leave $20 million on the table. That is what is reported from the Patriots to stay in Tampa with Baker Mayfield, with Mike Evans, and in this Tampa offense, who has now yet again a new offensive coordinator. Oh, but I love it. Chris Godwin was killing it last year before he had that devastating injury. He has now had two big injuries in his career, but still, I absolutely love this deal. This is a big win for Tampa, another win for Jason Light. How do you feel about it?
No, they've had a good offseason. He is a good receiver. You know, he probably didn't actually 20 million. He gets hit with those state taxes in New England. That's got to be worth like 12.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
It's good that he's keeping, you know, they kept Levante David. What is Hughes kept that guy from probably retiring. I don't think he goes, I think he retires a buck. And then they get Godwin, and then they sign Hassan Riddick, which will give them that edge that they're looking for. And he's definitely going to be playing, I think, with a chip on his shoulder. So I think it's a good signing. They're going to need that offense because when they had Godwin and then Evans, it's a pretty. And then K. Dotton, you know, shows up last year. It's a good offense, man. That's a good. Yeah, they're going to be. It's going to be tough to beat them in that conference.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I am all for it, and I mean, although Carolina has had some pretty good signings, I will give them that. But I mean, the New Orleans Saints, they haven't done anything. I don't think the Falcons have really made any big splashes either. So I am happy with the signings here in Tampa. There's one more receiver that is out there, and he is now with the Los Angeles Rams, Devontae Adams. Honestly taking the spot of Cooper Kupp because we already know Kupp is going to be not with the Rams next year. They've already said that they are going to shop him around and try and see what value they can get for him. So now they brought in Devontae Adams. Let's be honest, man. Devontae Adams, I still think he has it. And with this offense, with Sean McVay, with Sam Bradford, now, you know, you have Pook on the other side. He has a little bit of a compliment. This could be a really good year for Devontae Adams. And if you're a fantasy player, this might be a guy who you want to kind of circle on your board, maybe, you know, mid rounds.
Yeah, I think our Canadian Rams fan is probably jumping up and down for joy
For sure.
when he hears that because I think Kupp, as good as he's been and what he's done for that organization, is good. But I feel like you're right. Adams is going to have a really good year with them. He's got Stafford, who is better than Rodgers. Stafford was better than Rodgers his first 4 to 5 years, and then Rodgers had a nice run there. But Stafford's been better than Rodgers the last 2 to 4 years on the back end. So
Definitely.
he's got a guy that still slings the ball at a high level. With Nakua, they're going to have Higbee back healthy there at tight end. Tutu adds them a nice little guy that in the slot as well.
In the slot. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be that. I'm going to tell you now, that's a Super Bowl contending team right now. Their defense was great towards the end of the year. They're bringing back every starter. That's going to be a scary team right there. They are, man, I'm telling you what, that in Devontae, no disrespect to Cooper Kupp, he's just a bigger receiver. So around that goal line and stuff, I think it just gives them a little more because you have Nakua and Kupp are pretty much the same player. But man, I think this makes them a contender. I mean, they pushed the Eagles to the limit last year, and I think this gets them over that little bit of a hump, or we'll see what happens.
I was going to say, let's not forget about that run. There for a moment there in the NFC divisional game, we were thinking, holy crap, are the Rams about to make this run with Sam Bradford again? I mean, it seemed like that they got healthy again there towards the end of the year. They got hit with the injury bug early. That was something that we talked about in the last off season. Can they stay healthy this year? And they were able to come back, and man, they made a run. And that defense is, I mean, that defense is that defense. They have Jared Verse, they have Braden Fisk. Everyone was worried about the absence of Aaron Donald, and I mean, I think that they've, continued to roll right along without him. So I'm with you. And also, you have to think about it. The NFC West, it was always the 49ers. 49ers are kind of falling apart at the seams here. Their window of Super Bowl contention is, I feel like, over. And I mean, Seahawks, we just talked about, they don't really have any weapons over there. And then you have the Arizona Cardinals, which have never really been a threat in the West now for the last, handful of years. So the Rams over there in the West with Sam Bradford, Sam Bradford, Puka, and Devontae. Love it. I love that, sleeper pick. So now, Carlos, we're going to go along and talk about some of these paychecks that some of these guys are going to be getting. And
They can
want
pay
to
the
talk.
mortgage now for another couple of years.
Yeah, I think that they'll be okay for for the next couple of years. I don't know if they're going to be worried about these tariffs or not. But I'm telling you right now, man, we can kick it off either way you want to. But Myles Garrett, obviously, huge contract with the Cleveland Browns, $40 million a year. That's quarterback money, Carlos. That's quarterback money. What are the Browns doing? Why are they holding on to this? They overpaid Deshaun Watson. I feel like as good as Myles Garrett is, and I'm happy for him, don't get me wrong. Hey, man, get your bag. But gosh dang, man, when are these contracts going to level off?
They made a mistake here. I mean, I understand Myles is that he's a great player. And I think the Rams showed that model where they lose. I still believe one of the greatest. I think he's the greatest defensive tackle ever with Darnold. But you're still able to rebuild if you do it right, and that Rams defense just kept getting better and better as the year went around. But to spend that much money on Myles, you had the opportunity, and the owner wouldn't even meet with Garrett Myles to say trading one was an option. So in his side, I understand his side. Well, as you're not going to trade me, then pay me. I'm giving up. He's basically foregoing the chance for a championship unless he's going to do it when he's on the downslide of his career. But they reset the end market. Parsons is probably but Parsons has said he's not playing for the money. He wants championships. So I don't know
how quickly did Jerry Jones get on the phone after that news?
He called the Browns owner and was like, "What are you doing up there, man? Did you hit the liquor cabinet hard?" But it's ridiculous. It puts that franchise behind. I would have traded him, got some picks. Say that they just restructure Deshaun Watson. I'm like, man, they just saved $25 million in cap space. I'm like, they're doing the right thing, and then they go spend it. So on a player that they already had, I just think there's so much. They have no quarterback. Yeah, your defense is good, but it's going to be hard to keep up in that division if you can't score any points. So, and Nick Chubb probably won't even be there. So that offensive side is not good. But your defensive side's great. So great, you'll lose a bunch of games 21-3. But I don't think it's a good move. Great, fantastic for Myles Garrett in a sense of money, but not for Cleveland. I just feel like it sets them back.
It definitely sets them back, and then it kind of, I feel like, adds insult to injury. And no offense to this guy, but I mean, they went and they traded for Kenny Pickett, which is obviously, he's probably going to be their starter next year. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know what they're doing. I feel like that they're just like, okay, well, we're just going to play. Because think about the value that you could have gotten for Myles Garrett. Think about what you could have gotten for him. He is still very much in his prime. He can add a lot of value to a team. Think about a team like Tampa. Tampa was one team that was on the market for someone who they need to pressure the quarterback. They need to have an edge guy, and they have yet to find him in the draft. So think about someone who is desperate to find that, who is in a position to where they can make some serious playoff pushes. Think about what Tampa might have been willing to give up in order for, you to send Myles Garrett our way. But it just, I mean, the fact that the owner just decided, no, I'm just not going to meet with you. I mean, that to me is, Well, that's why your franchise is poverty. So I mean, it's no surprise there. Oh, but let's now stick in the AFC and for another guy who just got paid as well, and this guy very much deserving of it as Miles Garrett, and that is Josh Allen. Mega deal, $55 million a year. But Carlos, my big question to you, and again, great, we're happy for these guys. They deserve it. I'm not saying that Josh Allen isn't a quarterback, isn't someone who should be paid top dollar. But at some point, when can these franchises go, hey, until you give us a ring, we're not paying you the highest. We're not going to say, hey, we're going to pay highest dollar and reset the market for you until you give us a Super Bowl, especially in the quarterback position. Josh Allen has been so close so many times, but he yet has fallen short. Now, again, I wouldn't put the blame solely on Josh Allen because Josh Allen definitely carries that team and he hasn't had a lot of help in the weapons department. But again, when are we going to say, or when are these owners going to say, hey, I'm not going to reset the market for you because, Super Bowls. I'll pay you still top dollar for sure. You'll be, top 3 highest paid, but I'm not going to reset the market with you.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they structure this contract, like how much of it's backloaded. He's getting 250. Man, he deserves it. The guy's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Absolutely.
And if you got somebody of that talent level, but like you said, you're not giving this guy anything around him to throw to. Like, I'm sorry, Bills fans, Keenan Coleman is not your guy. You don't have a receiver to throw to him. I mean, Coleman's a third receiver on most teams. I mean, Allen's good enough to make him look like a second on a team, but he's not a number one. I mean, you're not number one with a 4.6 40. It's not happening. I don't care how good you are. It's just gonna be interesting, like how far this is backloaded. Like, Jalen Hurts' contract at the end is like $94 million cap hits.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, let's see what they do, but I mean, obviously, and as a Miami fan, I guess this is taking a shot at them. The Bills are not in it for championships. They just want to get to the AFC championship and then lose. The goal is not to win it; it's just get there, so you can say at least we got there.
Well, then they're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, they're signing, but I don't think any athlete deserves $55 million a year, but that's just because I'm the average day guy. I don't think any guy who can throw a football and run around, I don't think it's worth $55 million a year, but he generates a lot of revenue, and he's a great player.
Yeah.
They did the right thing there. Let's see what they do with it. I mean, I haven't seen any big splashes. All the big free agent wide receivers are gone. The draft is not wide receiver friendly at all. You have the top 2 guys they're okay. I mean, they're not like we're going to see next year when you got Jeremiah Smith and the kid from Alabama.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams. So you're not going to have those generational guys or like we've seen in the past. So let's see what they do. I mean, they got to do something. And, last year kind of exposed it.
We are all praying for you, Buffalo fans, and we're all rooting for you. Well, not Carlos, but
no,
he's
I'm not rooting for you at all. I hope he.
So he is. He's just happy. Carlos is very happy, knowing that all your money is just going into one basket and you're not actually surrounding the team. But yeah, and don't forget they're paying for a new stadium too, so they have to worry about that. So, Carlos, I mean, look, there's still a lot more that can happen, obviously, between now and by the time that we wake up tomorrow morning, to be honest with you. But I want to go ahead and just kind of take a reflection back over this day, over this past weekend. There has been so many moves. I mean, holy crap, man. I really was. Like, my phone was every 5 to 10 minutes today. It was something. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. And I appreciate it, but for the love of God, not every player has to be a breaking news, headline. Just, it's okay. We'll just get a recap at the end of the day. But I want to go over on who you think won today. Who you think maybe, didn't make the wisest choices. You know what? Let's just go with the winners. Let's stay on the optimistic side. Who's the winner for you today? Do you have a couple in mind?
I have actually a couple. I think the Commanders did a really good job in adding Larry Tunsil to solidify that line a little more. I think that they did a good job today on their making that trade. Honestly, I hate to say it, the Rams are a big winner for me. I think going and getting Devontae Adams is just a huge pickup for them.
Such a good pickup.
And then New England having a very quiet, really good day today, getting pieces that they need and spending that money wisely and not throwing it all. They got guys, and New England has always been good about this, and it makes sense why Vrabel's there and why they're doing it. They go out and get good guys that they know they got a couple of good years left in them, like those they're catching them in their prime years, signing them to 3-year deals, paying them $10 to $14 million a year, knowing in those 3 years they're going to get the best out of these guys, and then they'll let them go. But they're not breaking the bank with these 30, 40, $55 million a year contracts on here.
Yeah.
And they got a high draft pick. And I think Drake makes I thought they had a really good day today for sure.
Yeah, Patriots definitely silent assassin today. And you got to think about it. Mike Vrabel's there. A lot of players like him and have been very open about wanting to play for Mike Vrabel. He's a great coach to play for. A lot of these former players, that they're good. A lot of players enjoy playing with them because they know the day-to-day routine kind of stuff. For me, I think my winner today is going to be the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos were a surprise team for me last year. I think a surprise team for a lot of people last year. We didn't know exactly what Bo Nix was going to be. Bo Nix ended up turning out to be a really good quarterback. He fits into the Sean Payton system very well. They don't have – the only thing is that they just don't have any – they have Cortland Sutton, and I get it. He's very consistent. He's Mr. Reliable. But they don't have the running back. They don't have that superstar, so to speak, on that offense. But this defense was top I want to say 5 last year. And especially in the secondary with the best corner in the league right now with Patrick Surtain. And then they go out and they add Greenlaw as a middle linebacker from the Winners. And then they also added from the Winners Hufunga. And he's a fantastic safety. So they just bolstered up that defense, which I think which honestly, that was the best move, right? You see the big name wide receivers, the big name weapons get out of the market. Why not go ahead and just continue to focus on the defensive side? Continue to try and win games. Defense wins championships. Try and get it over there, and try and see what you can do in the draft to maybe add a couple of weapons for Bo Nix. So for me, and then also the Commanders. I'll tag along with you with the Commanders. I think the Tunsil trade kind of out of left field. Was not expecting that. Not really sure where Houston Texans are doing, but definitely a great addition for a very surprising team last year as well, especially with Jaden Daniels. And then let's not forget Deebo Samuel is there now. What Deebo are we going to get? We don't know, but doesn't have to be the guy, right? Because Terry's the guy. So it should be a fun offense to watch. So definitely, my winner though is the Denver Broncos. But let us know down there in the comments who you like today. What signings did you like? Who got overpaid? Who got underpaid? What did your team do? We want to hear it all down there in the comment section. We appreciate that and enjoy all the engagement from you guys. Follow us on all of our social medias. We are on Facebook, Facebook, X, and Instagram. And then obviously subscribe here on our YouTube page and share with all your family and friends. But we will be here this week. We're not forgetting this week. We got volume 2 of our redraft coming out. If you didn't get volume 1, go and check it out. That is on our page as well. It's the very last video before this one. So go and check that out. See what we did 1 through 16 because we are redrafting all of last year's first round pick. Now we got 17 through 32 coming up this Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until next Friday.
We'll see you next Friday.
Oh, you didn't do it.
See you guys next.
You can't take Scooter's line.
Take his line.
All right. See you guys next Friday.